Cobra Kai, I'm looking forward to this trailer, man.
Yeah,
We'll see what's going to happen.
they're doing like a Twitter thing where they're asking questions, so I'm going there now because I'm wondering. I'm really hoping they drop that trailer.
I love that show.
Because that's all I want to see, man.
I'm gonna ask Justin Horowitz if he'll call in.
You guys all saw it, right?
I haven't seen it. That's on my
the best.
It's better than the movie.
That's on my bucket list of
Horowitz,
things I'll get to when my kids are out of the house. When
It's
they're
really,
18.
really great.
Anyway.
Yeah, they're asking trivia questions.
What is?
Like what? Ask one.
Cobra Kai, round 2. Which sensei imparted this wisdom to his students? The best defense is more offense. Use Cobra Kai plus the answer to advance to the next round.
Nice. All right. So anyway, you need to watch it.
Yeah,
It's
that
so
one
good.
definitely
check
want
it
to
out.
see.
I was so surprised by how the writers were amazing.
Well,
Yeah.
because I had a chance. So it's funny because one of the producers, Josh Heald, was at the time his son was going to school with my kid, and I had a chance to get to know him a little bit better too. They are fans. I mean, they are. Like,
Oh, you can tell.
Well, I sat down with them on one-on-one, all three of them, John, Hayden, and Josh. We spoke about season 1, and I was a big Karate Kid fan growing up. So I wanted to see, as I'm talking to them, I had already seen the show, so I already knew that they were fans, but I wanted to talk to them and see. I mean, it's their Star Wars. It is their Star Wars, and you can tell all the stuff that they did. They treated it with care. They treated it with respect. There was a lot of things that they did that just worked, and I'm so curious to see. The sophomore season is always the toughest.
Yeah, because it's so hard to. I don't know how they're going to be at the same level as the first season.
I'll tell you, I'll bring back Elizabeth's show.
I mean, you could.
They keep talking about it.
I mean, it is cool too that they brought what's his name.
It hasn't been announced.
What's the actor's name though that came back? The main sensei.
Oh, Martin. What's his name? Because it is Martin Cove.
Yeah, Martin Cove.
Martin Cove.
Yeah, so that should be interesting. And that guy that plays Johnny is so
He's
great.
so good. Oh, so speaking of which, so I reached out to Josh yesterday and told him we were excited about the trailer. And they said they're going on. They're going to obviously doing their press. We're trying to get Zabka, Machio, and on the show. So it's not locked by any means, but I'd love to get the two of those guys on the show for season 2.
Oh,
You want me to talk to you too?
We geeked out
please.
so much
Yeah.
at that party when they showed up. I was just like,
Oh yeah,
I was starstruck.
I showed my daughter the first one, by the way, the original.
Yeah.
She
loved
loved
it.
it. She loved it.
It's so good.
It's the best.
Yeah, it's
But
really-
you know
I
what
still
I
like
love?
part 2
I
as
gotta-
well.
And I
show
don't mean
Blakey that one.
yeah.
I don't mean to spoil, but because it's fine. But the first season of Cobra Kai, like every flashback that they made with Johnny actually telling his side of the story.
Oh, it was great.
It was so great when
Incredible.
he's like, "Well, Daniel hit me, so I had to kick his ass." It was a different perspective, but you can tell that he's kind of a dick, but you also sympathize with him.
You
And you
understand-
never
yes.
did, and you never did in the first
No,
movie.
he was a bully kid, and
Exactly.
you didn't see his side of the
Yeah.
story.
Exactly.
And they said that was the whole thing. They took. See, the thing was, there was a video going around for
Yes.
a while that Daniel was the villain of the whole
Right,
thing,
yeah.
but they took that side of it. And they showed you Johnny's to it. That's Johnny's perspective that Daniel was the villain. And I was like, and I was worried about it at first. I'm like, they're not going to actually make Daniel the villain, and they don't. Then
No.
you switch over and you see
Yeah.
Daniel's side of the story and his kid, the way that he starts training the young kid.
like you're rooting for both of them.
Yeah, it's like two different disciplines, two different people that see life differently, and that's the conflict.
And I was
Yeah.
going to tell you,
that's what I loved about
the
it.
kid that plays Johnny's son, the one that Daniel trains, right?
Yeah.
I was convinced that kid was an actual martial artist because
Right.
he picked.
He's very fit.
But it was the way that he moved. But it was the way that he moved, and
Yeah.
I was like, oh, this kid's an actual martial artist.
Yeah.
He wasn't. He picked up all that stuff. That was one of the things that when I interviewed him, the producers that they told me, no, he just picked it up.
Wow.
And I really want to see where it's going to go because what they did with Cobra Kai. Yeah. If you haven't seen the series, you definitely should check it out.
It's funny because like when I saw that it was coming out, I'm like,
Right.
that's gonna be stupid.
Yeah.
Everybody
Like,
thought that.
yeah, like what are you talking
Yeah.
about?
We were all very surprised.
I gotta get
In a
that
good way.
Yeah.
Get that going.
Yeah.
So please watch that if you haven't seen it out there because I think it. And what I'd
Start right now.
What I would love to see is what the rentals were like on the original after that series came out. You know what I mean? Like how many people watched the original Karate Kid? 'Cause
I'm sure.
I watched it right away, and I've seen it like 3 times since the show has been on the air. But it's
Do
great.
you like 2 and 3 though?
I like 2.
Okay.
I don't like 3.
Yeah.
Two I like, and I think they're going to tie some. Well, they're going to tie stuff in all 3. It'd be great if Hillary Swank showed up.
They already did
Because that's
kind of.
4,
They
that's number
talked
4.
about
Yeah,
part
she's-
3. in
They talked about
season
that.
one.
Well, yeah, with Barnes. They
Yes.
talked about Mike Barnes and Silver, and they said like, I don't even know who those people are, which was great. And they can keep tying it back. They don't ignore any of the movies. They don't ignore any of them, which I love. But I think that I'd love to see if they have Soto's nephew.
Yeah, the nephew.
It was
right,
his nephew.
right.
What was your favorite? What
My favorite one
Yeah.
was the original.
original?
Yeah, I mean that's
Yeah.
the best.
I don't know.
one.
I kind
You
of
like two?
two
Two's
really
good.
kind of
Two's really good.
I like two.
There was something about that one that really
drum.
got
I mean, dude,
yeah,
it's
the
the
drum
it's the
thing.
Peter Cetera song.
Yeah.
Glory
Oh,
of
well,
Love.
God,
I'm sorry. And
yes.
That is a
that
good
line that
karaoke
Miyagi
song.
does,
Yes.
he's like, Daniel, there's no tournament. This real life.
Right.
I'm like,
yeah, step back, Daniel.
Here we
step
go.
back.
That was
Yeah,
what
yeah,
it was. It was the element of like, no,
And
this
what's the little,
isn't a
like-
tournament.
Yeah.
I mean, that,
and then it just
the
it
love
beats the
story.
shit
and
out
the-
of him.
yeah.
Well, that was what this is done because you look at because that's a franchise, right? And we've talked about it before, where it just proves that any franchise can, and it's not easy by any means, can be revitalized with a right story because.
And
if-
longer format, I think too. It's harder to do it in a movie.
Yeah, and that's what's so good about these streaming services too now, right? Because, like Brett said, most people, and again, the producers knew as much that when they announced this, oh my God, what are they doing with doing a Karate Kid series now? Give it up. But they found a way and they hit it. They found the right
So
angle.
great.